I would say I'm super excited to get to camp here. I'm looking forward to 2 weeks away instead of one. I think anytime you can separate the team from normal everyday life and distraction, it gives you an opportunity to focus in on one thing, and that's really the big priority right now. And so making the move to expanding the camp, I think, is going to be a huge benefit for us. I also, if I'm really being transparent, I think I'm looking forward to year two with what I have explained to be 35 coaches coming back. So we have our staff. Obviously, we know the deal, but we've got a number of veteran players coming back this year that can very easily turn around in line during drills and explain to some of our young guys what's going on. It's really nice for them. It's nice for me to know that they have complete understanding as to what we're doing, why we're doing it, why we're doing it, when we're doing it. And, I expect to see that come to fruition, the benefits of being in the system for the second year. Outside of that, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Who wants to go first? Colton.
You got you.
Phil, did last year remind you of any previous year in your career, just in terms of the difficulties? I know there are injuries to deal with, but I'm just curious if, when you went back and reflected, is there a year you can compare it to, or?
No, this has been 35 years I've done this, and I think after any season you can lay out your bag of excuses. You can. Last year was inundated with injuries, particularly the starters, and that doesn't help you. I don't care who you are, right? But no, last year was very different because of that. That was probably the most I had experienced in my career. And you deal with it the way you have to deal with it. You plug in the next guy and you move on and you do what you can do with the guys that you have. And I was happy, very happy with the way our players responded at the end of the season to win in overtime against Nebraska and to beat Minnesota at Minnesota, and then to perform the way we did at LSU. That game didn't finish the way we wanted it to, obviously, but we played some good football in that game, and so we created some momentum there. And I thought it was the 3 games in the 3 weeks where I felt like I saw our guys playing instinctively. And I say that, and I use that word all the time, and I truly believe that that's where they need to be, that they've got to be able to grab a signal and line up and not have to do a whole lot of thinking. And, you want the athletes that you recruit who have all this speed and this talent and this athletic ability to be able to go demonstrate why the heck we recruited them. You hurt the process there by inundating them with needing to know more than they need to know. Give them the tools they need to go execute the play and let them get there. And the sooner we can get to that point, the sooner guys look like they've been in this system and doing it for a long time. And that's what I felt like we looked like so much more in the spring. And that's what, workouts have looked like since. So I'm looking forward to camp.
Cool. So kind of on that same line, you've got 5 offensive linemen that look like that first team that have got some experience and played together before, now a ton of experience behind those guys. Is there anything you can do in camp to make sure those guys can get to week 1 healthy, or is it just kind of, that's the nature of the position, you guys hope they build that callus up?
Well, just to probably mirror what Coach Fickle would say, you don't get better at the game without playing the game. And so that's what we're going to do. I mean, we're going to challenge our guys. And it's the responsibility of the veterans to get their job done, but it's the responsibility of the younger players, to make the progress that they need. And I think players understand as you move along in this process where their role is, and embrace that role and be really, really good at it while you're chipping at the heels of the guy in front of you. And, I would say probably deeper in just about every room this year from a talent standpoint. So there's, Coach says all the time, iron sharpens iron. There's so much truth to that. And we have that going on right now in the QB room and the skill rooms up front. And there's some pretty talented young guys from these last 2 classes, that I'm excited about. And so it's going to be fun to watch them develop. And it'll be fun to see which ones can get to a point where they're actually going to be in the mix when we head into the season.
Steve, and then
You just said you feel like you're deeper in every room from a talent standpoint. Aside from the familiarity of the system, what's the biggest area in which you think y'all are better offensively now than a year ago?
Oh, you want me to pick out one? There's a lot of continuity and mojo in the receiver room right now. Coach Guyton has done a great job of embracing what we do, and we're just rolling right now. And I think the guys that are returning that have played here already are, thanks to Brady Collins and his team, are just better athletic, physical products than they were last year. As whatever game Will Pauling played his best game, he's better now because he's stronger, he's more physical, and he's more durable. And I think that you'll see that from top to bottom on the roster. And so that's always an advancement, to have these guys coming back, but they're better versions of themselves. And then we're able to plug in some guys behind them that, will push them for competition. And any time that players 80 through 85 are better than they were last year, it really means your entire roster has been upgraded, and that's where we want to be, and that's our job.
Carly in the back.
Hey Coach, how close is the quarterback competition, and what do you need to see from Tyler and Braden, both of them, as you head into camp?
I mean, it's a competition. I mean, it's not like is there anything other than a close competition? So these guys are battling right now, and I think the advantage that Braden has is he has a year under his belt and a huge working knowledge, and he is twice the player that he was last year. I just said that in the staff meeting the other day. He is vastly improved the things that he needed to do from last year, and I'm excited about watching him in camp. And then Tyler came in and went through the same learning curve that Tanner, Mordecai, and Braden had to go through last year. The difference is, though, we have so many people now, so many players in these rooms that know everything. And so the learning curve this year for the new guys is not what it was last year. We still had coaches learning. I mean, I didn't know the restroom was until April, you know what I mean? So it was just everybody, and I had not worked with Fick on a day-to-day basis. And so this year, there's none of that. This year, there's a lot of familiarity, and we also have a great locker room. So our older guys / more experienced guys are all grabbing on to some of these young guys, and they're helping them with where to go, what to do, how to get things done, and then that stuff's going on the field as well. And so year two typically is going to be vastly improved over the first one, no doubt.
Nick.
Hey, Coach, you talked about some of those veterans. We spoke with a couple of those guys last week. It was Jack Nelson, Hunter Wohler. They both had really strong things to say about how Tyler came in and just kind of put his head down and worked, and that gained a lot of respect from his teammates. How did you see that, and how have you seen some of that growth since January, February from him?
I think anytime you come in and you can assimilate yourself with the team, both in the locker room and on the field, it's a good thing, and it tells you from a character standpoint you got the right guy, no matter what position it is. And then here, I mean, I think there's the most respect in this program for the guys, your peers, whether it's staff or it's players, for the ones that show up early and grind, leave late, and you can tell by what's going on when they're at work that they're doing some things away from this building to better themselves, whether it's training or it's learning or it's studying film or whatever it is. And so not just him, but the rest of them have done a great job right now of trying to catch up. We tell them all the time with regards to the tempo of the offense, and they don't understand what I'm talking about because it's such an old school example. But I say, look, if you're running away from home, the train doesn't slow down. You can't run away from home until you can catch the train, right? And that's how it used to be. So we're not slowing down for them offensively. They get here, they've got to learn it. They got to be able to do it at the tempo we do it. They have to be able to think fast, and that's going to happen at a different time for each one of these players. But this year, the new guys coming in, they've got a lot of help. This is how it's going to be. This is how it is. Here's how you make it better. This is how we get it done faster. And so all of these guys these high character guys that are coaching our younger guys are bringing them along, and for all the quarterbacks, truthfully. They're just better versions of themselves right now, and I think competition should be fun to watch here heading into August camp.